Hi, my name is Konstantin Magnus. In this Houdini tutorial, we are going to convert a three-dimensional mesh into a set of two-dimensional triangles that show the mesh from a certain camera perspective, including perspective distortion, and the scale of each individual triangle will represent the lighting. So from a distance, you can tell light and shadow areas apart from each other. Let's start in a new scene and choose a file node to load a mesh from our hard drive. I've chosen a 3D scan from a website called 3dscans.com, and if you scroll down a bit, you will find the portrait of a man. You can choose any other mesh, and I'll just show you how we are going to proceed. First of all, we should activate the backfaces so we can tell that this surface needs to be reversed. And also we should make sure, after checking the size of the mesh, that we may want to scale it down to unit size using the match size node. By scaling it to fit, it should have a height of 1 now. Let's rotate it around the x-axis by 180 degrees to make it upright, and once you zoom in, you will see that the mesh is quite irregular at the moment. The remesh size node can regularize it, and we can choose a target size of 0.005 for the edge length and maybe invest 5 iterations. This is a one-time operation, so we can invest a few seconds. I've chosen the specific target size to prevail the detail in the hair and also for the wrinkles, which should be okay like that. Let's append a null node, call out, and we can rename the entire container to scan, so later on we may want to dive in there again and change the mesh for something new. When we're done, we should create another geometry container which does the actual conversion to triangles. Inside, I would like to use the object merge node and make sure I only see my objects, so let's hide others. Let's pick the null node we've created inside scan, and before we distort this mesh according to the camera perspective, I would like to mask by feature to get that lighting calculation done first. So you can tell we can choose a light direction. I choose 110. And when you hit enter, you will see a preview. So the red areas are fully exposed to the sunlight and the white areas are in the shadow. We can disable blurring and reduce the number of samples. You can choose all sorts of settings, including the max angle. That might be interesting if you want a softer lighting, but I'm fine with the presets for now. Let's just keep in mind that the output attribute is a mask ranging from 0 to 1. I hit escape to disable the preview, and now we can proceed with a point VOP, which will give us the camera's perspective, which are called normal device coordinates, NDC. And we should also create a new camera. You can activate the lock to change its position, choose an interesting perspective, and once you're done, we can dive back inside the triangles and even inside the point VOP to now convert our positions to NDC. It's already picking up the camera, and all we have to do is connect it to the output position. Let's disable the lock and hit spacebar H to see what we got. So you can tell the mesh got distorted according to the camera's perspective, and it's only stretched vertically because we didn't calculate in the aspect ratio. So in my case, it's simple to just set the resolution to something quadratic like 1K by 1K. Other than that, once you switch to the front perspective by pressing spacebar 3, you will see that we now got the exact same perspective we had in the camera before. So now it's time to filter out the backward polygons that are not seen by the camera. We can choose the ray node for that and make sure it's shooting its rays on itself. So just connect both inputs to our geometry stream and make sure you have a little bit of bias to lift up the rays before shooting them. And we don't even need to see the guide geometry. And actually, we also do not want to transform the points. We would simply like to get a point group that shows us whenever you're shooting the rays forward using a vector. We still have to define by deleting the channels and choosing 001 along the z-axis. That way, the rays are being shot toward the front, and we can easily identify the ray hit group by enabling the group visualization. So set it to points and choose a strong color. So these are all the points that are not seen from front. And we can simply convert this group by using the group promote node from points to primitives. Let's choose the ray hit group and append a blast node to remove those polygons. Since all its primitives have been deleted, we can also delete the group. And you can double check by pressing spacebar 3, and you should see almost no difference because only the back-facing polygons that turn the other way have been deleted. And you can zoom in all the way after pressing W to check there are no overlapping triangles left. Let's press W again, and this is now what we're working with. We should just make sure it's absolutely flat using a point node where we can set it to flatten to the x-plane, which we still have to adjust because that way all the points are being flattened to the ground. I would prefer to flatten it so self.y is still in use, but we flatten the z-axis by setting it to 0. Let's press spacebar H again, and now you should see the projection right on the front, and it's totally flat. Now what we like to do is we want to scale each individual triangle, and we can prepare this by using the facet node and turn unique points on, so that way you can tell by pressing on the 3D boundary button that now each triangle is individual and has its own points. And we can get something similar when we use the poly extrude and set it to individual elements. What we want this node to do is to inset each of these triangles. So let's start with a value of 0.01 and disable the common limit. You should see a difference, especially if you disable the boundary, and zoom in a little bit. Let's disable the side, so we just want to be left over with the front, and I choose an inset which is even smaller, let's say 0.0005, just so we see the effect. But what we would like to have is individual control over each triangle, so we can bring in the shading we calculated in the mask by feature node. And luckily there's a local control over the inset scale, which I copy here. That's a primitive attribute we should provide. And so let's dial back the inset to 0.01 as a multiplier And before the poly extrude, we are going to promote the mask from points to primitive and remap it. I would like to choose the primitive class and pick the mask, and we may want to rename it to the inset scale. And while you can see some effect, I would like to invert it by setting the input minimum to 1 and the input maximum to 0. And now play around with the values a bit. Maybe a value of 0.0, 0.2 and 0.16 would be a start. And then we need to start playing with this until we like the result. I've chosen 0.2 and 0.016 for now. You should already see some kind of shading and also some artifacts. Those really long triangles are some kind of error which happens when you inset triangles, especially when they are quite stretched. And the easiest way to get rid of them is filtering them out afterwards. So I would like to just choose a group node, set it to edges, disable the base group, but enable the inclusion by edges and ask for the minimum edge length of, let's say, 0.01. I call this one artifacts and want to promote this from edges to primitives, which is simpler to delete them in a clean manner. So the blast node can take care of that primitive group called artifacts, and we will delete the now empty group. Be aware that, at least the way I dialed it in, there are lots of very, very small triangles in spaces where you would not expect them anymore. So you may want to fuse them using a snap distance of 0.0001. And if you want to only see the outlines, it may also make sense to unroll these triangles with shared points like this. That way you can use that pattern inside a pen printer, and this would be the first result. I think I switched the light, so the light direction. So let's try something like from 0 to 1. This looks more convincing. And again, these settings are your personal preference. You can play with those. All right, let's try to change the perspective. So I will just go out of the network, dive inside the camera, make sure it's locked. I want to just look at a new perspective and go back to my triangles and press spacebar 3 to see it from front and maybe spacebar H to zoom in. Let's also test a new light direction just to see whether it works. Maybe I choose something like -1 on the X. That's maybe not so clever, so let's play around with some other direction. That's from below. And this is from the other side. That should be it. Thank you for watching. And all we need to do is maybe append another null node and call it out. So we're done.